Welcome to our Unit 3 overview. Unit 3 has three distinct parts. The first part is understanding audience, purpose, and context, also called rhetorical concepts or rhetorical analysis. The three parts to this section of Unit 3 include the rhetorical analysis video and quiz, the reading rhetorically discussion post, and the discussion post responding to the article, The Real Reason to Wear a Mask. This final discussion post has a lot of parts to it and actually is an example of the post that you'll be completing for Part 3.2, the Pandemic Research Archive. The goal of Part 3.1 is to help you understand the difference between audience, purpose, and context, and also understand how to analyze these rhetorical concepts as they appear in different readings. This is going to be your BS detector. It's going to be how you identify bias and account for that when you're looking at any piece that you select for your archive. Part 3.2, the Pandemic Research Archive, includes a discussion post and your archive. The discussion post asks you to begin this unit part by thinking about what aspect of COVID-19 you're most interested in researching. You should write about what you'd like to learn more about in relationship to COVID-19, and think about what claim you might make about COVID-19. Obviously, you're not going to know what you could claim until much further along in your research, but starting with an idea, at least of what you'd like to learn more about, is essential to making this research successful. This post not only gives you a chance to think about what you're interested in looking at before you start looking, but it gives me a chance to offer you some feedback to make sure that the research that you do is focused and meaningful. That research will be represented by the work that you post for our archive. There are 3 weeks worth of posts in the archive. Each week you'll post an article, a video, and an image, for a total of 3 articles, 3 videos, and 3 images by the end of the project. You will also be responding to 2 classmates each week. Your archive posts are due on Fridays, and your weekly responses will be due on Sundays. There are specific guidelines for each of these posts, including questions that you need to answer for each of these posts in D2L. You want to go to Unit 3, Part 3.2, and check out the archive posting guidelines. In the Pandemic Research Archive, you'll be looking for articles, but they don't have to be peer-reviewed or from academic databases. They do, however, need to be sources from reliable and credible outfits, reliable and credible publications. You will need to do some research into who the author is and evaluate the credibility of the source by looking at its language, content, and publication venue. Along with a link to the article, you will also post a 2-part credibility analysis. Part 1 is a textual critique, and there are specific questions that you need to answer here. And Part 2, reader reflexivity, also with specific questions. Those questions are available in the archive posting guidelines on D2L. You'll also be adding a summary of the most important ideas in the article and your personal reaction to the article, why you found it interesting, and what impact it had on you or how it changed your behavior. The summary and personal reaction each should be a minimum of 100 words. And as you can see, I've added some highlighting to the presentation that showcases that. Part 3.3 is the Annotated Bibliography. This is the final part of Unit 3 and the final assignment for our course. 3.3 has a discussion post and then the Annotated Bibliography assignment. The discussion post asks that you look at a sample annotated bibliography entry and revise that entry to be stronger. Right now, it's not complete and it's pretty weak, so you're going to need to read the annotated bibliography assignment description and use that to give some feedback to the existing annotated bibliography entry in this discussion post. Your annotated bibliography is going to have at least 4 sources. You're welcome to have more, but you need to have a minimum of 4. The annotated bibliography requires that you write a claim and that you use each source that you include to develop that claim. Each source has 3 parts: the MLA Works Cited entry, a summary of the source, including quotations, interpretations where appropriate, and an evaluation discussing how you're going to use this source to develop your claim. The summary and evaluation should both be 150 words. So why do we write annotated bibliographies? Well, they actually make research easier. By summarizing and evaluating sources as you read them, you make rereading and finding what you need simpler. They also help you to create a first draft of your paper by thinking about each source in writing. Again, on the right, we have the requirements, which is a minimum of 4 sources, a claim, or like a purpose statement, thesis statement, that each source in the bibliography can be used to develop. That's one claim for the entire bibliography, and each source should also have an MLA Works Cited reference, a 150-word minimum summary, and a 150-word minimum evaluation. Strong bibliographies have specific claims. The claim states an opinion or an argument that can be backed up with sources in your bibliography. Strong claims are specific and avoid value judgments. They also connect to the sources in the bibliography. If you make a claim that COVID-19 is fantastic, then you have to make sure that you have the sources to back that up. However, a claim that COVID-19 is fantastic or COVID-19 is bad is a specific value judgment. So you want to avoid that kind of claim. Also, your claim should be very, very specific. You don't want to look at several ways COVID-19 has affected things. You might want to narrow down and focus on one. When you're working with your annotated bibliography, you want to make sure you have correct works cited entries. Correct citations make creating your works cited page easy. They also allow you to easily annotate or easily locate sources that you'll need for a paper or for another research project. A strong annotated bibliography has a detailed summary and a detailed evaluation. The summary is a minimum of 150 words. It's thick and detailed. It refers to specific moments in the source. The moments summarized are important to the source and to the writer's claim. The evaluations are also a minimum of 150 words each. They refer to specific moments in the source, show evidence of using the source to think through the writer's claim, and discuss how the source will be used in the paper. The summaries and evaluations are the meat of each source in your annotated bibliography. An overview of the Unit 3 assignments includes our 3 units: Understanding Rhetorical Concepts, which is 5% of our course grade, the Annotated Bibliography, 15%, and the Archive, which includes our archive posts and the discussion before the archive. If you guys have any questions, pop on into office hours Mondays and Wednesdays 2 to 3 on our Zoom link on the news page, or hit me up via email. Thanks.